here, and I don't. Okay, it is moving there. The just just like always, the whole sound thing went after I clicked to go live. Clicked my intro. The sound thing went haywire. And I didn't know if it came back, but it looks like it finally came back. I had to turn it off, turn it on during the intro, believe it or not. I don't know what that does to what you're hearing out there. I don't know. It's just a mess. It's just not easy being me. I don't care what anybody says. Just hello, I'm Jerry Rosa here at the Rosa Stringworks Man Cave. And today is Tuesday, the 25th of February. And that reminds me that tomorrow, there will be no vlog tomorrow because I will be at the dentist. And be the victim of pain infliction. Let me tell you the rest of the story. I told you last week that on Thursday morning I woke up and I had a slight toothache, and I thought it was probably because I just clenched my jaws in the middle of the night, which I do that every once in a while. And anyway, usually it hurts for a little while that day and usually goes away. Well, this one didn't go away, and I think I told you last week that it was, significant pain, but not so much I couldn't live with it. It was like a 5 or a 6 on a scale of 10. Well, then fast forward to Friday, and it was still about the same, about a 5 or 6. It wasn't too bad as long as I didn't touch it, and didn't eat on that side. So I had already made a dentist appointment for tomorrow, which is Wednesday. Anyway, and I was just planning to tough it out till then. Well, Friday afternoon, evening, I guess, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I guess I, jacked my jaw across like that and hit that tooth. Oh my gosh. It went straight up to a 10. And it hurt like that, and it didn't go away for about 3 minutes. I mean, if it went back to the 5 or 6, I could have probably, if it had went right back to that, I wouldn't have been that big a deal. But it didn't, and it stayed at like a 10 for about 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, it was intense. It was really hurting bad. And so soon as I felt like I could, I jumped in the car and ran up to the urgent care, doc in a box, and got a prescription of amoxicillin. So I took the amoxicillin, 1 pill, and within just a few hours, the pain had dropped in half. So it went from like because the pain had gone back down to a 6, but it went from a 6 to about a 3, just after 1 pill. And in only, 3 or 4 hours after I took the pill, you could just feel the pain going away. Well, then the next morning, I didn't have any pain really. And so I've been on the amoxicillin since then. Now, the dentist told me to do that. They told me that if the pain got bad, to go get the amoxicillin. Anyway, so that's the name of that tune, and at least it's not hurting now. So, but I'm pretty sure it's a root canal situation or worse. I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm pretty sure it's a root canal at least. And I don't really mind that much. I know a lot of people just dread it. It just doesn't really bother me that much. But I know I'll be shot up with Novocaine and everything. And even if I get in and out of there in time, which the appointment's at 10:30, I don't feel like I'll be wanting to talk much at 1 o'clock. So anyway, in terms of the to-do list, well, I've got half of one of the 33 or 4 items that I mentioned yesterday. I have half of one of them about finished. The bad news is that I've added, I think, 4 more items to the list. Now, we did add the one during the vlog yesterday because someone reminded me that I didn't have on there about extending the metal shop. Well, I do want to extend that, so that's one of the first items that I've added to the list. And then I want to rebuild. I have a Honda Recon. It's in really good shape otherwise, but the motor has just gone south. It's it was using a lot of oil. I mean, it might even start now. It's been sitting for a long time. It's been sitting for probably 6 or 7 years, just in the barn down there. But I'd like to get it out and rebuild that, so and fix it back up, because it's otherwise it's a really good machine. It just needs the motor reworked. And then I want to build a dobro. So those are 3 items. And then finally, the last item is I want to install, I have 2 more LED lights that company gave me, and outdoor lights, and I want to get those installed on the barn and the big metal building. So I've added 4 more items to the list since yesterday, including the one we added during the vlog. But anyway, at least I got half of one of them done. I should be able to get the other half of the one item done today, and here's the video to kind of explain that, I guess. Well, the project is going pretty good. I've got the door propped up here with boards, you can see. It turned out that wasn't that hard to lift. It was really hard for one person to try to lift. But with 3 of us, my 2 grandkids and myself, we lifted it no problem at all. It was actually easy, not even hard. And then we just put those posts in place to keep it up there out of the way. I had taken this completely out. I've got it reinstalled now, but you can see, you can probably tell that it was dented slightly here. Anyway, it was really bad, actually, and it had come loose. The metal had, the bond from the metal to the styrofoam on the inside, the bond had broken. So, and the seam had come apart. So what I did was I, put silicone caulk inside of all of that, squeezed it all back together with clamps, caulked this upper seam because, well, I don't know, it had been crimped before, but I have no way of crimping that and doing all that. So I just clamped it all together, held it together with silicone caulk, and it looks like it's going to be fine. I mean, it looks pretty good. Then I sanded down the whole top, and actually I wire brushed the top. There was a lot of rust on it, and then I sprayed it with flat black paint, a couple of coats of that. I said flat black, I meant flat white. I'm so colorblind I can't even say the right colors. Anyway, that's working pretty good. And then I've got all of this hardware back installed. I had to take all that hardware off and, to get the door out and work on it. I discovered that down here, you probably can't see it very well, but this little cable that goes up to the spring that lifts this door, all of that had wore almost completely in 2. So I took that whole bracket off, took it down to the shop, welded it back up, filed it clean, made it really nice. But it had literally almost wore in half. And so it wasn't long for the world anyway. It's a good thing we did this. Otherwise, that spring would have, the cable would have broken loose from down there, and that spring would have jerked it up. And I don't know what would have happened, but it wouldn't have been good. And this side didn't have any wear on it, so it was fine. Anyway, it's the old scope creep thing. All I really wanted to do was put in a new garage door opener, but like I said, 2 weeks ago, Sue bumped this door and messed that up, so I had to fix that. Then, I had to weld that part there, so it just kept getting bigger and bigger. Then I had to paint this part here. So I'm letting the paint dry for 2 hours before I try to reconnect the door back. Once I get the door reconnected, then I can retension the springs. Then I can try to start installing the garage door opener, which is what I wanted to do from the very beginning. It's just not easy being me. Yeah, it was simple till I got started. And then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You could even make a case that it was even bigger than I said there, because, I had to take the end cap off the door and unfold the metal so I could get in there to put the caulk in there. And, Yeah, and I don't know. It was a big job. And so it's fixed. I let the caulk set overnight, so that's cured pretty well, I think. But then I painted that about 11 o'clock this morning, and I put 2 coats on it. And so now as soon as we're done here, I'll go back out there and hopefully finish it up today. So anyway, that's the name of that tune. If I get this project done, I'm not sure what project I'm going to next, but probably go up there and just finish cutting up that great big oak tree right above the house, because I'm probably still going to need quite a bit of firewood for the rest of the year, and I want to get that taken care of anyway. Then after that, I'll probably get right back on the water wheel. So, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. And like I said, this list of all these things to do doesn't include all the daily stuff that breaks and, Sue's honeydew stuff and all that. I mean, it doesn't include any of that. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let's go to the comments and see what's up today here. Eddie Turner looks like he was the first one in there today. Joe Nigan, and then Dottie Hildebrandt. And Dottie's praying for us. Thank you, Dottie. Appreciate it very much. David Tharp says, howdy y'all. If you replace the W with the T in what, where, and when, you'd have the answer. That, there, and then. Okay, I get it. I'm just slow. I can't help it. It's just the way it is. When it comes to words, I don't know what it is about words. It just is slow. It's funny how I can, be such a klutz at reading and stuff, and yet I can write pretty well. I mean, I've written, like those documents for Southwestern Bell. A lot of those were 300 or 400, 500 pages, and I didn't have any problem writing that stuff. And I didn't have any problem reading what I wrote because I knew what it said. But reading other stuff, it's not easy. Gino Hitch, hello, Jerry and friends. Beautiful day here in Monroe, Ohio. Did you find any more cedars for shingles and lumber? No. It's not even on the radar right at the moment, until I get these other projects caught up a little bit. Bill Mumbo, did anyone see the video Ringo Starr at the Opry? Did great for 85. I was very impressed when during a song he got down on one knee and stood up again easily. Oh, he's 85 years old. I got you. All right. Again, it's just hard for me to put it all together. Wow. No, I didn't see that. I'll try to check that out, though, because I'm curious about that. Let's see. Moving on down. Eric, I called the doctor because my son wouldn't stop chewing lamp cords. Doc said I needed to ground him until he could conduct himself properly. That's an electrical joke, in case you didn't get that one. I did get that one. Let's see. David Tharp, after we went live there, it looked like Rod Wintler was the first one in there, but and Michael 2X says, hey, Rosa Meister. And anyway, David Tharp says, pro tip, fill the piñata with ketchup and you'll never be asked to host another children's birthday party again. You're welcome. Yeah, you first want to tell everybody that you're having an all-white party. Be sure to wear your white clothes, and then do that. Scott Roberts, the dentist prescribed amoxicillin for my toothache last week, and I took 2 and then 3 more throughout the day. Wow, that's a lot. Took 2 over the days to pain to go away. Well, I don't know what your milligrams was on yours. Mine was 850, which is, a fairly high dosage of this stuff. And anyway, it really, I could tell within just a couple hours that it was working. I've told you before that a lot of medicines, not all, but a lot of medicines do the opposite thing for me. Like things that make most people drowsy, make me wired, completely awake. I couldn't go to sleep. If you hit me in the head with a hammer, I couldn't go to sleep. And, stuff like that. And so there's a lot, and there's other ones too that I have the opposite reaction. Thank God. I guess God's watching over me. But the antibiotics, that's one thing I know for sure works. I mean, it works every time for me. So I'm real good with antibiotics. Now, oddly enough, if I take a high-dose antibiotic, I'm talking like 1,200. Like the 850 is right on the cusp. 1,200 gives me hives and breaks me out, and man, it's bad. It's a bad reaction if I get the high-dose antibiotics. Let's see. Bill Webb. Good afternoon, Jerry and friends. Howdy, Bill. Gino Hitch just remembered what about the Martin houses. Well, yeah, I guess I need to put that on there, don't I? Really, because it's not on there. And I've already ordered a dozen more houses. Gee whiz. I want to write it down because I'll forget to put it on the list. It's nice to be able to check these things off. Yeah, I did. I ordered a dozen of them. So they're on the way here. They should be here anytime. That's going to be a project in itself. So that will interrupt the water wheel house too, because it's got to be done in time for the Martins to get here. So I have to get that done. Okay. Well, thanks for reminding me. I would have got reminded anyway when they showed up. Simon Jardine. Hi, Jerry and Rabble. Need to fold a 5mm lip on a 3-inch square metal plate. Question. I was going to groove one side with a hacksaw before folding it 90 degrees. Should I groove the inside or the outside of the fold? Well, when you say 5mm, is that the thickness of it? Because that's pretty thick. You're getting close to a 1/4 inch there. Let's see, that's 200 thousandths. A 1/4 inch is 250 thousandths. So, well, how do you did you say you need to fold it 90 degrees? Yeah. Well, then I would cut the inside, definitely, not the outside. If you cut the outside, you're going to break it. Well, unless you plan to weld it. I mean, you could cut the outside, fold it. It'll probably crack, and then you could re-weld it. But if you don't want to re-weld it, definitely cut the inside. And even then, you might want to re-weld it, but you don't have to if you cut the inside. It'll probably bend just fine without cracking. Anyway, and then again, it might not. That thick, if you only have a small cut, it's going to bind on itself very quickly anyways. You almost need to cut it at a 45. If you could do that, it'd be hard to do, but it'd be nice if you could widen out the top of the crack somehow after you cut it. I hope that makes sense to you. David Tharp, I went to the bookstore yesterday and saw a book that said how to solve 50% of your problems, so I bought 2. See, I get math pretty good. I'm not very good at math, honestly, I'm not, but that kind of math I can do pretty good in my head. Scott Roberts, mine are 500 milligrams. Okay, yeah. The one I got was 850. When I saw that, when I went to the drug, he doesn't tell you when you're at the office how much you're getting, And when I picked it up, it said 850. I kind of had my, brow up a little bit. I was wondering if it was going to break me out, but so far I haven't had any reaction. But yeah, I don't know, this is a side story, but I don't know, quite a few years ago, my daughter was living in North Carolina, I guess it was, and she had bought a house and needed to fix it up. So I went there and I was tearing out walls and doing all kinds of things, and it was the real old oak lumber, stick built, and I got splinters all over my hands. Well, I drove one splinter into this finger here. You can probably see the scar. You can kind of tell the scar there. And I couldn't get that splinter out. And it was hurting really bad, really bad. And I was trying to squeeze it out, trying anything I could. And it was deep. So I ended up going, I couldn't even tell you how many places we went. And like the first place we went was like an urgent care. They couldn't get it out. They said, we can't get it out. So they sent me to someplace else, and they couldn't get it out, I think to the hospital. And then they sent me to a hand specialist, went there, and and by the way, I forgot to tell you the first part, the funny part, is that every single place I went, and I went at least 3 places and maybe more, but I went 3 places for sure, and every place I went, they said, oh my gosh, you're going to lose that finger. That was the first thing they said. Because again, I can't see the colors. And they said it was really bright red. It was like, once that red gets so far down your finger, they said, you're going to lose that finger, I mean, they all just said that. And it was just a splinter, I'm thinking, how could you lose a finger over a splinter? Well, when I got to the hand specialist, that's the first thing he said too. He goes, oh my God, you're going to lose that finger. And it took him a long time to get that splinter out. It was not an easy one to get out. And you know what was weird is I didn't even remember getting the darn thing. But the next day, it hurt like crazy. And so anyway, that's the reason I'm telling you that story is because they put me on super high dose antibiotics. That's how I knew I have that reaction. Because and so then they had to quit giving it to me orally, and they gave it to me intravenously or something. And they put me on a IV and all kinds of stuff. It was not a simple splinter, let me tell you. And I really did almost lose that finger based on everything that happened. It was just a splinter. So there you go. Don't take anything for granted. I mean, I probably pulled, and I'm not exaggerating, I probably pulled 7 or 8 other splinters out of my other, out of the rest of the hand and my other hand. Maybe more than that. It was a bunch of them. I had a bunch of splinters. And, of course, you could say, well, why didn't you wear gloves? Well, because of that. Try to wear gloves with that. That's all I can tell you. It ain't easy. Anyway, so that's how I learned I definitely have a reaction to high dose antibiotics. I think those were 1,200 milligrams is what he was giving me. And there was something else they gave me too. I can't remember. Scott Roberts, David Tharp. I bought that book and just read it twice. Saved me a few bucks. Simon Jardine. No, Jerry, 2 millimeters thick, 5 millimeter lip. Okay. Oh, that's right. I got you. Okay. Yeah. Again, I can't read. Yeah. You're folding 5 millimeters back. It's only 2 millimeters thick. So that's 80 thousandths thick. That's still fairly thick. But if you score it, yeah, but again, it's the same that applies. You want to do it on the inside. And yeah, I think you might be able to just score that. Now, if you put that between, I mean, I don't know how you do it, but like for me, if I had to do that, I do have a metal table, a steel table about a 1/2 inch thick or so, and I would probably put it right on the edge of that, and then I would clamp a thick angle iron on top of that and clamp it down really tight. So in other words, you're sandwiching the piece you want to bend between the angle iron and the steel table, and then take a hammer and beat it up slowly. That'll get you to your 90, and that way you'll be right on your line and everything too if you get it clamped good and tight. That's the way I would recommend trying to do it if you can do that. I don't know if you got the necessary stuff to do that or not. Let's see, moving on down. Scott Roberts, speaking of piñatas, have you ever had one of those days when you're holding a stick and everybody looks like a piñata? Yeah. Let's see. Ronald Todd, why do ducks have feathers? To cover their buttquacks. Okay. Tom Armstrong, where do bad rainbows go? To Prism. It's a light sentence, but gives them time to reflect. Oh, that's a good one, Tom. That's a good one. Kelly Manis, Jerry, did you already add purple martin nest boxes, or is that yet another to add to your never-ending to-do list? Well, Kelly, that's what we were just talking about a minute ago there. I wrote it down that I need to add that to my to-do list because I do have quite a bit of purple martin work to do. So, yeah, thanks for the reminder there. So I definitely am going to add that. Scott Robert just doesn't quit. And, the thing is, I bet you there's at least 10 or 15 other things that I'm just not thinking about right now that I need to get done too, that need to be on the list. Scott Roberts, I had a splinter years ago in my belly from pulling dry veneer. Tried cutting it out with a razor blade. Ooh, that gives me chills. I don't like it. It's the weirdest thing. If I get cut, it doesn't bother me much. But if I have to see somebody else get cut, or if you're cutting yourself, or you just accidentally got cut, it just goes through me. I can't deal with that. That's why I'm not a doctor. I'm not lying. I probably would have been a doctor had it not been for that specific thing. I just can't deal with somebody else having a cut or a bad thing. And I'm sure it goes back to when I was just a little kid. I've told this story several times before, but Dad had a horse that got out of a pasture and jumped, ran through a barbed wire fence and laid this thing open. I mean, like all the way from like the shoulder across the neck, all the way, and just the meat just hung down. I mean, like it hung down. It was like 6 inches of meat hanging down. And he says, "Here, hold this horse while I sew this up." I was just a little kid. I don't know how old I was. I'm going to say 4th, 5th, 6th grade. I don't know. And I passed out. And so I think that's where it came from. I mean, ever since, well, I don't know if it's ever since then, but I can't deal with seeing somebody get cut or something like that. It just goes right through me. Let's see. So then let me finish reading that one about the razor blade. Tried cutting it out with a razor blade, which just sends chills through me. Gave up and went to the doctor. He said it looked like someone already tried operating. Oh, God. I couldn't deal with that. Let's see. Looking for Sidecar Bob says, "Hi all, my cold is getting better. I was 6 degrees above freezing yesterday. So the snow slid off the steel roof. Guess my job is today." Guess what my job is today? Well, I'm not sure. I mean, cleaned up the snow that slid off the roof. Here it's all melted. I mean, it really was a nice warm day yesterday. I was working out there in the garage in a t-shirt, and I've been out working in a t-shirt today already. It's awesome. It's like in the 60s or so. Scott Roberts, I want a pair of purple shoes now. And a pink shirt. I'd be styling them. Yeah. Well, I don't have them to give to you now, or I'd give them to you. Scott Roberts says, Bob Ann. Let's see. Simon Jardine, do the Martin houses come down every year after the season? They should, Simon. I just didn't do it. I should have taken them down, but I'll take them down here in another few days and clean them out and mend anything that might be broken or whatever and fix them back up and put them back up there. And then, like I said, I got another dozen coming, and I'll have to build a whole pole or a whole carriage for those to hang them on or something. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Let's see. Scott Roberts, what's worse is trying to pull your own teeth with a pair of pliers. The crunching sound will make you stop. Trust me, I know. Whew, that's crazy. Yeah, well, but for whatever reason, that doesn't bother me like the cutting, like your stomach with a razor blade. Oh, that just does it for me, man. That just goes right through me. Eddie D says, wow, everybody's a comedian. That's good. Bill Webb, hey, Jerry, today is Ramona's birthday. Can you wish her happy birthday on the vlog? She does watch it. Ramona, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ramona. Happy birthday to you and many more. There you go. Now, I'm not going to do that for everybody. They've been here 6 or 7 times staying at our rental retreats, so they deserve that. Sidecar Bob, yep, I have to clear at least the back deck and stairs. The snow took out one of our 12-foot long tomato trellises, too. Oh, my gosh. Tom Armstrong, 44 degrees today here in New Hampshire. Guys, I think that's it. I'm going to get right back out there and work on the garage door. Try to get that put back together and then tension it up. I've got to do all that very terrifying tensioning of that spring, and then I have to hook up the new opener and see if that works. I'll fill you in tomorrow. Well, no, I won't either tomorrow. So either way, I won't be there tomorrow, maybe because it's a garage door accident or because of the dentist or maybe because of both. But either way, we will not have a vlog tomorrow, but we will be back on Thursday. So we will see you Thursday. Thanks for being here. See you then.